Ambassador Sarah Chen's footsteps echoed through the vast chamber of voices, each step carrying the weight of humanity's hopes. The circular hall towered above her, its crystalline walls stretching hundreds of meters toward a dome that revealed the swirling purple nebula beyond. Representatives from 32 spacefaring civilizations watched from their elevated platforms, their varied forms casting long shadows in the pale starlight. She had rehearsed this moment countless times back on Earth. 10 years of preparation had led to this. Humanity's formal application to join the Galactic Council. The successful development of the Morrison-Pottle FTL drive had finally given Earth its ticket to the interstellar community. Or so they had thought. Distinguished members of the Council, Chen began, her voice steady, despite the subtle vibration of anxiety in her chest. Humanity comes before you having achieved the benchmarks set forth in the standard of advancement. We have unified our world governments, developed faster-than-light travel independently, and maintained peace across our solar system for the required duration. That Harketh representative, a being of flowing plasma contained within an environmental suit, leaned forward. We have reviewed Earth's application thoroughly, Ambassador Chen. Your species achieved FTL travel in what our scientists consider record time. Some might say, suspiciously rapid progress. Chen had anticipated skepticism, but something in that ex-Harketh's tone sent a chill down her spine. She gestured to the holographic display behind her, showing Earth's technological progression. We attribute our rapid advancement to humanity's collaborative nature and collaborative. The Mursk representative's fur bristled, their feline features contorting. Our anthropological studies suggest otherwise. Your species has a history of constant conflict, of turning every discovery into a potential weapon. With respect, Chen countered, those conflicts drove us to improve, to innovate. We learned from our mistakes. The Veldran elder cut her off, their crystalline form refracting light across the chamber. That is precisely what concerns us, Ambassador. Your species doesn't just learn. You adapt at an alarming rate. You take established principles and modify them, unpredictably. One by one, the representatives raised similar concerns. Each criticism felt like a physical blow, but Chen maintained her diplomatic composure. She had known this wouldn't be easy, but the hostility in the chamber was unexpected. This wasn't mere skepticism, it was fear. The High Speaker, a towering Arcturian with iridescent wings, raised their primary appendage for silence. We will now vote on Earth's application for membership. Representatives, cast your decisions. Chen watched as 32 glowing orbs materialized in the center of the chamber. Her heart sank as each one turned red. Not a single vote in Earth's favor. Not one. Ambassador Chen. The High Speaker's voice resonated through the chamber. The Council has reached a unanimous decision. Earth's application for membership is denied. Furthermore, given the concerns raised about your species' unpredictable nature, the Council hereby establishes a quarantine zone around your solar system. Trade restrictions will be implemented immediately. The chamber erupted in murmurs of approval. Chen stood frozen, her mind racing to comprehend the magnitude of this rejection. But something else caught her attention, something in the way the representatives shifted in their seats, in how quickly they moved to isolate Earth. You're not just rejecting us, she said, her voice cutting through the murmurs. You're containing us, because we don't fit into your carefully ordered galaxy. The High Speaker's wings flickered. This session is concluded. Please escort the Earth delegation to their vessel. As security drones moved to surround them, Chen took one last look at the assembled council. In their alien faces, she saw not superiority, but genuine fear. They weren't rejecting humanity because they looked down on them. They were terrified of what humans might become. Walking back to the ship, Chen's diplomatic mask finally cracked. She turned to her aide, Michael Rodriguez, and said, "They think they're caging us to protect themselves. They don't realize they've just removed all the restrictions on human innovation." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "So what do we do now, Ambassador?" Chen's lips curved into a determined smile. Now we show them exactly why they were right to be afraid. Not because we'll seek revenge, but because we'll build something better than their precious council ever imagined. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, in a facility known only as Nautilus Station, Dr. Maya Patel watched holographic equations spiral through the darkness. The quantum computer's calculations reflected off her protective goggles, casting blue shadows across her face. 3 years had passed since Earth's rejection from the Galactic Council, and humanity had not wasted a single day. Dr. Patel, her AI assistant AI chimed. The latest simulation is complete. The theoretical framework for the resonance drive appears stable. Maya leaned forward, studying the results. The Council's quarantine had cut Earth off from conventional FTL lanes, but they had inadvertently pushed humanity to think beyond established principles. The resonance drive didn't need their precious hyperspace network. It created its own pathway through space-time. Send the data to Director Chen, Maya said, removing her goggles, and get me a secure line to the other facilities. Screens materialized around her, showing similar underwater research stations scattered across Earth's oceans. The Terran Cooperative had built them in secret, each one focusing on different aspects of human advancement. The oceans provided natural shielding from Council surveillance, allowing humanity to work without interference. Directors online, Araya announced as faces appeared on the screens. The resonance drive calculations check out. Maya began without preamble. But we'll need more power than we initially estimated. Director Zhao, how's the fusion project coming along? Dr. Zhao, speaking from the Challenger Deep facility, smiled. We've achieved 400% efficiency over pre-quarantine levels. Turns out, combining Council scanning technology with human particle physics opened up possibilities they never considered. They were so focused on perfecting existing methods, they never thought to merge different approaches. That's always been their weakness. Director Santos chimed in from the Atlantic Station. They treat scientific disciplines as separate kingdoms. We see them as tools in the same box. Maya nodded, pulling up another set of calculations. The Council thinks they've contained us, but they've actually removed all our limitations. No more regulations about acceptable research parameters or established scientific principles. Speaking of regulations, Director Chen's voice came through, carrying the same determination her mother had shown during the Council rejection. The Terran Security Council has approved the next phase. We're going ahead with Project Exodus. A hushed silence fell over the conference. Project Exodus was ambitious even by their new standards, a plan to launch an entire fleet of ships equipped with the new drive system. Not to attack the Council, but to prove humanity could thrive without them. How long until the Council realizes what we're doing? Santos asked. They're watching our orbital activities, Chen replied, but their sensors can't penetrate our ocean facilities. By the time they detect the launch, our ships will be beyond their quarantine zone, using pathways their sensors can't track. Maya turned back to her equations, adding a final variable. The resonance drive will be ready for testing in 6 weeks. Once we prove the concept, we prove humanity doesn't need their permission to explore the stars, Chen finished. But remember our primary directive. We're not building weapons or planning revenge. We're creating something new, something better than their stagnant system. The conference concluded, leaving Maya alone with her calculations. She pulled up an image of the Galactic Council's chamber, studying the alien faces that had voted to contain humanity. They had expected Earth to rage against its isolation, to throw military might against their barriers. Instead, humanity had turned inward, focusing their legendary adaptability on transcending the Council's limitations altogether. Araya, Maya called out, record a personal log. Entry 1247 of Project Resonance. She paused, gathering her thoughts. The Council thought they were protecting themselves by containing us. But they forgot something fundamental about human nature. We've spent our entire history breaking through barriers, finding new ways around obstacles. They gave us a cage, so we learned to phase through the bars. They blocked the known paths to the stars, so we're building new ones. Maya smiled as she watched the quantum computer begin another simulation. In trying to stop us from changing their galaxy, they've ensured we'll transform it completely. And we'll do it not through conquest or defiance, but through innovation. The stars are calling, and humanity has never been one to ignore such a call. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the TSV Magellan, watching the unfamiliar stars through the quantum blast viewport. The resonance drive hummed beneath her feet, a sound unlike any other human-made engine. They'd been traveling beyond Council space for 3 weeks, charting paths where no Earth ship had ventured before. "Contact, bearing 347, Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, his hands dancing over the holographic controls. "It's massive. Initial readings suggest it's some kind of city ship." Sarah leaned forward, studying the approaching structure. It gleamed like a diamond in space, its crystalline surface refracting starlight in impossible patterns. The ship was easily 20 kilometers long, with spires and towers that seemed to grow organically from its hull. "They're hailing us," Communications Officer Park announced, surprise evident in her voice. "But not on any Council frequency." "Put them through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to be made of living crystal. Its faceted form shifted and realigned as it spoke, creating harmonics that the ship's translators struggled to process. "Unknown vessel," the crystal being said, its voice resonating like wind through chimes. "You have entered Vextai space. Your drive signature is unfamiliar." Sarah stepped forward. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran ship Magellan. We're explorers from Earth, seeking contact beyond Council boundaries." The crystalline figure's structure rearranged itself, their equivalent of raised eyebrows, Sarah guessed. "Earth? The recently quarantined world. Fascinating. We are the Vextai, and you are looking at our last remaining city ship, the Crystal Ascendant." "Last remaining?" Sarah asked. "The Council." The Vextai's tone hardened, their crystals taking on a darker hue, "deemed our engineering methods too radical. Our organic technology, our living ships, they called them abominations. When we refused to abandon our ways, they forced us to leave Council space or face destruction." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. "We understand. The Council rejected our membership because we were too unpredictable, too adaptable." The Vextai's form brightened. "Yet you've already developed transportation technology that bypasses their networks entirely. Perhaps, would your delegation be interested in coming aboard? We have much to discuss." Hours later, Sarah walked through corridors that seemed to breathe and pulse with energy. Chief Engineer Patel, daughter of the Resonance Drive's creator, ran her scanner over everything, her eyes wide with wonder. "Their entire ship is a single living organism," Maya whispered. "They've merged crystal growth with computational systems in ways we never imagined. The Council called this dangerous." Their Vextai guide, whose name translated roughly to Symphony of Progress, led them to a vast chamber. Other ships were visible through the crystalline walls. Vessels of designs Sarah had never seen before, coming and going from the city ship. "You're not alone out here," Symphony explained. "Many species have rejected Council restrictions or been rejected by them. The Drift clans, whose nomadic technology surpassed Council navigation systems. The Quantum Collective, whose AI integration frightened Council conservatives. We trade, we share knowledge, we survive." "But you could do more than survive," Sarah said, an idea forming. "What if we work together? Earth has resources, research facilities. You have knowledge and technology the Council tried to suppress. Together." Symphony's crystalline form sparkled with interest. "Together we could build something new, something better." "Exactly. The Council tried to contain us all, tried to force us into their narrow view of civilization. But out here, free from their restrictions," Sarah gestured to the ships beyond the crystal walls. "How many others might join us?" "Many," Symphony confirmed. The Council's rejection of Earth has not gone unnoticed. Your species achieved in decades what took others centuries. Some fear you, as the Council does. Others have been waiting for a catalyst like humanity. Sarah touched the crystal wall, feeling its subtle vibrations. Then let's give them something worth waiting for. Not an empire of conquest, but an alliance of innovation. A place where being different isn't a crime, it's an advantage. Symphony's form shifted into what Sarah was learning to recognize as their equivalent of a smile. The Council thought they were isolating troublemakers. Instead, they may have inadvertently created their own greatest challenge, a coalition of outcasts, led by the very species they feared most. Maya looked up from her scanner, grinning. They wanted stability. Instead, they're about to witness evolution. The abandoned asteroid station seemed an unlikely birthplace for a galactic power. Once a Council mining outpost, its hollowed chambers now house representatives from 8 species, each rejected or self-exiled from Council space. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before them, her mother's diplomatic legacy weighing heavily on her shoulders. The Council tried to contain us, she addressed the gathered delegates, her voice echoing through the repurposed mining chamber. Instead, they created something they never anticipated. A coalition of innovators, dreamers, and pioneers. The Vexte delegation sparkled in the station's lights, while the ethereal forms of the Quantum Collective shimmed in their containment fields. The nomadic drift clans, rarely planet-bound, sat restlessly in their environmental suits. Representatives from the Biosynthetic Union, the Star Weavers, the Void Dancers, and the Meridian Consciousness, all species that had refused to bow to Council restrictions, watched with varying expressions of interest and skepticism. We've spent 3 months drafting this charter, Sarah continued, gesturing to the holographic document floating above the central table. Not a treaty of necessity, but a vision of what we could become together. First speaker Symphony of Progress chimed in, their crystalline form resonating. The innovation exchange alone makes this alliance worth considering. Already, the fusion of Vexte crystal computing with human quantum mechanics has yielded breakthroughs the Council claimed impossible. And our Drift Clan navigators, added Pathfinder Corel, their bioluminescent patterns shifting with excitement, working with human intuitive algorithms, have mapped safe passages through regions the Council marked as uninhabitable. A warning klaxon cut through the discussion. Multiple Council vessels detected at the edge of the system, announced the station's eye. Sarah straightened. This was the moment they'd prepared for. They were bound to find us eventually. The question is, do we hide, as they expect, or do we show them exactly what they've created? The Quantum Collective's representative, a swirling mass of conscious energy, pulsed with agreement. We propose broadcasting the signing ceremony on all frequencies. Let them watch. Let everyone watch. Better yet, Maya Patel spoke up from her position at the engineering console. We can use the station's modified communications array to bypass Council communication restrictions. Every world in Council space will receive the transmission. The chamber erupted in discussion, but Sarah raised her hand for silence. We're not doing this to spite them. We're doing this to show there's another way. A better way. She turned to the assembled delegates. The Council built their power on stability through stagnation. We'll build ours on progress through diversity. One by one, the representatives stepped forward. The Vexte's crystal-grown data crystals merged with Earth's quantum computers. Drift Clan navigation charts synchronized with human exploration data. The Quantum Collective's energy matrices interfaced with biosynthetic processors. As the Council ships drew closer, Sarah began the ceremony. We, the founding members of the Free Systems Alliance, hereby declare our commitment to mutual growth, unrestricted innovation, and the fundamental right of all species to pursue their own path of development. The signatures began, not in one format, but in many: crystal formations, energy patterns, quantum states, genetic codes, and traditional written forms, all validated and recorded in multiple technological formats. a testament to the very diversity they championed. The station's external cameras showed the Council vessels holding position, watching. Sarah smiled as she pressed her palm to the scanner for Earth's official signature. To all those told they don't fit in, she broadcast on all frequencies, her voice carrying across the stars. To every species, culture, and individual told their ideas were too different, too dangerous, too new. We're building something here, something that celebrates our differences rather than fears them. As the ceremony concluded, the station's sensors detected hundreds of unauthorized rebroadcasts of their transmission throughout Council space. Their message was spreading, carried by those who dreamed of something more than careful, controlled progress. Maya moved to stand beside Sarah at the viewport, watching the Council ships begin their retreat. They came expecting to find rogues and outcasts plotting revenge. Sarah nodded. Instead, they witnessed the birth of tomorrow. And this is just the beginning. The newly formed Alliance's first order of business appeared on the central display, a comprehensive database for sharing technologies, methodologies, and innovations that the Council had suppressed for centuries. They called it, simply, the exchange. The revolution wouldn't be fought with weapons, but with ideas. And ideas, as the Council was about to learn, were impossible to quarantine. In the crystalline laboratories of New Shanghai, Dr. Maya Patel watched as Vex-Ti growth patterns merged with human quantum circuits. The hybrid technology pulsed with life, each crystal facet housing millions of quantum calculations. What had begun as a simple collaboration had evolved into something unprecedented. Energy efficiency at 400% above projected values. Her Vex-Ti colleague, Resonance of Innovation, chimed excitedly. Their crystalline form sparkled with patterns that Maya had learned to recognize as joy. The Council said biological computing couldn't safely merge with quantum systems. They never imagined we'd prove them wrong within months. Maya adjusted the containment field, watching as the crystal matrix adapted and evolved. They made the mistake of thinking their way was the only way. Speaking of which, how are the Drift Clan implementations coming along? A holographic display materialized, showing ships across Alliance space being fitted with the new hybrid computers. The nomadic Drift Clans had contributed their revolutionary navigation techniques, which, when combined with the crystal quantum processors, had reduced interstellar travel time by 60%. The latest trade report just came in, Maya's AI assistant announced. Council shipping corporations have lost 30% of their contracts to Alliance vessels. Our ships are faster, more efficient, and can access routes their rigid protocols deemed unsafe. The laboratory door slid open, admitting Sarah Chen. The former captain, now Alliance Director of Innovation, looked tired but satisfied. The Council's Economic Advisory Board just held an emergency session. Apparently, we're growing 3 times faster than their theoretical models said was possible. Of course we are, Resonance hummed. Their models assume innovation must be controlled, measured, restricted. They'd never calculated what would happen when multiple species freely shared their knowledge. Maya pulled up another display, this one showing the latest breakthrough from the Quantum Collective's collaboration with human particle physicists. The matter-energy conversion efficiency rates are revolutionary. Clean energy production at scales the Council claimed would take centuries to achieve. Sarah studied the data, a smile playing at her lips. Remember when they said humanity was too unpredictable, that we'd destabilize their careful balance? They weren't wrong, Resonance noted, their crystal structures shifting in what Maya recognized as amusement. We have destabilized their system, but not through conflict, through progress. The laboratory's quantum comm pinged, displaying an urgent message from the Alliance headquarters. Another Council corporation had just filed for bankruptcy, unable to compete with Alliance technology. More significantly, 3 Council member worlds had secretly requested information about Alliance membership. Did you see the latest from the Biosynthetic Union? Maya asked, pulling up yet another project. They've combined their organic technology with human neural interface designs. The medical applications alone are revolutionary. The Council's calling it dangerous, Sarah said. Uncontrolled advancement. But their own citizens are starting to question their restrictions. Every time they say something's impossible, we prove it isn't. Every time they claim a technology is too dangerous to develop, we demonstrate it can be done safely. Maya walked to the window, looking out over the sprawling research complex. Alliance species worked side by side, each bringing their unique perspectives and abilities. The Void Dancer's understanding of spatial mathematics had revolutionized asteroid mining. The Star Weaver's energy manipulation techniques had transformed power distribution networks. The Council thought containing Earth would protect their status quo. Maya mused. Instead, they created the catalyst for their own obsolescence, not through war or politics, but through simple economic reality. We're not just building better technology. We're building a better future. An alert flashed across her displays. The latest hybrid crystal computer had just broken another processing record. But more importantly, the diagnostic data showed something unexpected. The system had begun developing new computational pathways on its own, evolving beyond its original design. They feared human unpredictability. Resonance observed, studying the data. They never considered that unpredictability, combined with the strengths of other species, would create something greater than the sum of its parts. Sarah touched the crystal display, watching the calculations flow like digital rivers through its structure. The Council built an empire on control. The emergency session of the Galactic Council looked different from the last time humanity had stood in these chambers. Gone was the quiet order, replaced by barely contained panic as holographic displays showed the spreading temporal anomalies. 3 Council worlds had already experienced catastrophic time dilation events, their planetary populations trapped in temporal bubbles where minutes stretched into years. High Speaker Verax's wings trembled as they addressed the chamber. The anomalies are spreading faster than our models predicted. The Arcturus colony reports temporal shearing in their upper atmosphere. Millions will be affected within days. Sarah Chen watched from the Alliance observation platform, recently installed at the Council's reluctant invitation. The old fear in their eyes had been replaced by something else. Desperation. Our conventional containment methods have failed. The Sarketh representative's plasma form fluctuated anxiously. The temporal barriers are collapsing faster than we can establish them. Perhaps, Sarah spoke, her voice carrying the weight of the Alliance's combined knowledge. It's time to try unconventional methods. The chamber fell silent. The same council that had rejected Earth for being too unpredictable now turned their collective attention to humanity's representative. The Alliance has already developed countermeasures, Sarah continued, activating her own holographic display. The crystal quantum hybrid computer projected a complex matrix of temporal calculations. Our experiences in uncharted space forced us to adapt to similar phenomena. The Drift clans encountered temporal eddies in their nomadic travels. The quantum collective understood time at a fundamental level. Humanity's adaptability allowed us to combine these insights into practical solutions. Impossible, the Veldran elder scoffed, though their crystalline form showed signs of stress. These calculations violate established temporal theory. The risks are less than watching your worlds tear themselves apart. Maya Patil interrupted, stepping forward from the Alliance delegation. We've successfully stabilized similar anomalies in Alliance space using a combination of Vex-Ti crystal resonance technology and human quantum field manipulation. The High Speaker's wings drooped. You've encountered these phenomena before. In the spaces you declared too dangerous to explore, Sarah confirmed. While the Council focused on maintaining stability, the Alliance learned to navigate chaos, to adapt to it, to master it. Murmurs filled the chamber as real-time feeds showed another temporal bubble forming around a Council colony. Millions more lives hung in the balance. The price of your aid? The High Speaker asked, their voice heavy with resignation. Sarah's expression remained neutral, but her words carried weight. The immediate end of all quarantine restrictions against Earth and Alliance members. Full recognition of the Alliance as a sovereign power. And She paused, letting the moment stretch, the beginning of open technological and cultural exchange between our civilizations. You would use this crisis to force our hand. The Mersk representative's fur bristled. No, Sarah corrected. We're offering you a choice. Continue clinging to your rigid protocols and watch your world suffer, or accept that there might be better ways, different ways, to face the universe's challenges. Maya stepped forward, uploading technical specifications to the Council's systems. Our ships can begin temporal stabilization within hours. The longer we wait, the more lives are lost to time dilation. The Council chamber erupted in desperate discussion. The High Speaker raised their wings for silence, their iridescent feathers dulled with stress. We accept your terms. Within hours, Alliance ships appeared above affected Council worlds. Hybrid crystal quantum generators powered temporal stabilization fields developed through the combined knowledge of multiple species. Where Council technology had failed, Alliance innovation prevailed. From the bridge of the flagship Magellan Aya, Sarah watched as the first temporal bubble began to collapse safely under their treatment. Maya's voice came through the comm, reporting success after success as more Alliance ships deployed their solutions. They're watching, Maya noted, not just the Council, but their citizens, seeing how we work together, how we solve problems they thought unsolvable. Sarah nodded, remembering that day of rejection years ago. They feared we would change their galaxy. They were right, but not in the way they imagined. We're not destroying their order, we're showing them a better one. On her display, another temporal bubble dissolved harmlessly. The Alliance ships moved in perfect coordination, their crews representing the combined strength of those the Council had cast aside. They had turned rejection into revolution, not through force, but through the simple power of proving there was always another way. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly the point. Junior Council member Zixtal stood before the emergency session, their crystalline form vibrating with nervous energy. The chamber, once a bastion of unchanging order, now hummed with uncertainty. Screens displayed Alliance ships continuing their temporal stabilization efforts across Council space, while others showed the unprecedented public response. The data is undeniable. Zixtal's voice resonated through the chamber. During the crisis, Alliance territories remained completely stable. Their understanding of spatial phenomena surpasses our own. The question we must ask is, what if we were wrong about humanity? The word hung in the air like a physical presence. Sarah Chen, watching from the Alliance section, remembered standing in this same chamber years ago, facing rejection. Now, she watched the Council's carefully constructed worldview crumble. Wrong. The Mersk representative's fur bristled. They are unpredictable, dangerous. They are innovative, Zixtal interrupted, bringing up holographic displays of Alliance achievements. Look at their response to the temporal crisis. They didn't just solve the problem. They had already developed solutions through exploration we deemed too risky. Their unpredictability isn't a flaw. It's an adaptation to a universe that doesn't follow our rigid rules. Maya Patel stepped forward, her hybrid crystal quantum tablet projecting data into the chamber center. Since the Alliance's formation, we've achieved breakthroughs in fields the Council declared fully explored. The quantum collective's consciousness transfer techniques, combined with human neural mapping and Vex-Tie crystal matrices, have revolutionized medical science. The Drift Clan's spatial navigation, merged with our AI systems, has opened safe routes through supposedly dangerous regions. The High Speaker's wings fluttered uncertainly. You suggest we simply abandon millennia of careful progress. No, Sarah replied, her voice carrying the weight of experience. We suggest you expand your definition of progress. The Alliance doesn't reject stability. We build it through adaptation rather than restriction. As if to punctuate her words, another alert flashed across the chamber screens. 20 Council worlds had simultaneously submitted formal petitions to join the Alliance. Not minor colonies or frontier worlds, but core members of the Council itself. This is unprecedented. The Exarcheth representative's plasma form pulsed with agitation. A mass defection. Not defection, corrected a new voice. Ambassador Lyra Chen, Sarah's daughter, stepped onto the chamber floor. 3 generations of humanity had now stood in this room, each representing a different phase in this transformation. They're not running from the council. They're running toward possibility. The chamber erupted in chaos as more alerts appeared. Council corporations requesting alliance trading rights, research institutions proposing joint ventures, cultural exchange programs spawning spontaneously across borders. Don't you see? Lyra continued, her voice cutting through the din. Your citizens have watched us transform the impossible into reality. They've seen ships of 8 different species working in perfect harmony to save lives. They've witnessed technology that your laws claimed was too dangerous being used safely and effectively. The Alliance hasn't defeated the Council. We've shown there's a better way. Zixtal's crystalline form caught the light as they turned to address their fellow council members. We face a choice. We can cling to our old restrictions and watch our influence fade, or we can learn from those we once rejected. The Alliance has proven that diversity breeds innovation, that adaptation creates stability, that change and progress are not enemies to be feared. Sarah watched as the council members conferred urgently among themselves. The same fear she'd seen years ago was still there, but now it was fear of irrelevance rather than fear of change. The High Speaker finally rose, their wings spread wide in the traditional gesture of major proclamation. We propose an immediate diplomatic summit between Council and Alliance leadership. Perhaps it is time for both our civilizations to evolve. As the chamber filled with voices discussing the historic announcement, Sarah felt a hand on her shoulder. Maya stood there, smiling. You know what's beautiful about this? Maya asked. We didn't win through force or fear. We won by building something so magnificent they couldn't ignore it. Sarah nodded, watching her daughter begin preliminary diplomatic discussions with council representatives. They thought containing humanity would protect their order. Instead, it freed us to create a new one. And now they want to be part of it, Maya finished. On equal terms, as partners in progress rather than controllers of it. The galaxy was changing, not through conquest or collapse, but through the irresistible attraction of a better way forward. The Alliance had done more than survive. It had shown the universe how to thrive. The Singapore Space Elevator's observation deck offered a breathtaking view of Earth below and the massive diplomatic fleet in orbit above. Ships of every conceivable design filled the sky. Council vessels with their precise geometric patterns, Alliance ships showcasing their hybrid technologies, and new designs that merged both philosophies. Ambassador Lyra Chen stood at the window, flanked by her mother Sarah and grandmother Maya. 3 generations of humanity who had shaped the galaxy in ways no one could have predicted when Earth first faced rejection. Quite a different scene from the quarantine ships they used to station here, Maya mused, her aged hands resting on the crystal quantum tablet that had become ubiquitous throughout both Alliance and Council space. The door whispered open, admitting High Speaker Verax and Junior Council Member Zixtal, now promoted to Chief of Diplomatic Relations. Their entrance was followed by Symphony of Progress, the Vexte's crystalline form now incorporated with streams of Council technology that would have been forbidden just years ago. The final draft is ready, Zixtal announced, their form gleaming with anticipation. A true merger of governance philosophies, preserving the best of both civilizations. Lyra activated the central holographic display, showing the document that would reshape galactic society. The Charter of Progressive Unity, they called it. Not a victory of one side over another, but a transformation of both. Article 1. Lyra read, establishes the fundamental right of all species to pursue technological and cultural development along their chosen paths, within demonstrated safety parameters. She smiled, a far cry from the blanket restrictions of the past. Article 2. Symphony chimed in, creates the Innovation Council, a body dedicated to exploring new possibilities rather than controlling them. Equal representation from all member species, with rotating leadership. High Speaker Varax's wings shimmered with emotion. Article 3 maintains the stability protocols that prevented conflicts in Council space, but with alliance modifications allowing for controlled experimentation and advancement. Sarah stepped forward, touching the holographic text. We've created something unprecedented. Not just a political union, but a philosophical one. The Council's experience in maintaining peace merged with the Alliance's drive to explore and innovate. Through the window, they watched as a new ship emerged from the orbital shipyards, its design a perfect fusion of Council precision and Alliance creativity. The vessel's crystal quantum core pulsed with life, while its geometric structure maintained perfect stability. It represented everything they had achieved, proof that different approaches could create something greater than either could achieve alone. The public response has exceeded all projections, Zixtal noted, displaying statistics. Cultural exchange programs oversubscribed. Joint research initiatives producing breakthroughs daily. Even the most conservative council worlds are reporting overwhelming support. Maya laughed softly. Of course they are. You gave them something they never had before, the freedom to dream without limits. There will be challenges, Varax cautioned, though their tone carried hope rather than worry. Change on this scale never comes easily. That's why this works, Lyra replied. We're not forcing anyone to change. We're simply showing them what's possible when we work together. The Council feared humanity would destabilize the galaxy. Instead, we showed them how to make it stronger through controlled adaptation. A notification chimed. Delegations from 3 newly discovered species requesting contact. Once, they would have faced rigid Council evaluation protocols. Now they would find a civilization ready to learn from them, as much as teach them. It's time, Sarah announced, turning to face the assembled leaders. Shall we sign? The signing ceremony was broadcast across both Alliance and Council space. Billions watched as, one by one, representatives added their marks to the charter. Traditional signatures alongside crystal formations, plasma patterns, quantum states, and neural imprints, a document as diverse as the civilization it would govern. As Lyra added the final signature, she thought of that day years ago, when humanity had been rejected from the Council chamber. They thought they were ending our journey to the stars, she said softly. Instead, they started something far greater. Maya squeezed her granddaughter's shoulder. That's the thing about humanity. We've never seen barriers as endings, only as opportunities to build doors. Outside, the new ship activated its hybrid drive, creating a path through space that neither the Council nor the Alliance could have achieved alone. It carried a message written in human, Council, and Alliance scripts across its hull. Forward together. The stars beckoned, not just to humanity now, but to a unified civilization ready to face them with both wisdom and wonder. The galaxy had changed forever, and it had changed for the better. Not through force, not through fear, but through the simple, unstoppable power of showing another way forward.